Well, questions are being raised following the sudden resignation of the Navy Secretary as the coronavirus continues to affect sailors aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt. One America's Jack Posobiec spoke with a former DOD official to learn more.
We're very excited to welcome here to One America News, I believe for the first time, we've got Amber Smith. She's a former DOD official under Secretary Mattis and herself being a combat veteran, Iraq and Afghanistan. Amber, thank you so much for being on with us.
Hi, Jack. It's great to be with you.
Now, let's talk about all things going on at the DOD and specifically the DON, the Department of the Navy. The Secretary of the Navy has just resigned. A captain has come off an aircraft carrier, has been relieved of command. We've got a ship where there's an outbreak of coronavirus. One of the sailors is now in the ICU after being found unresponsive. What is going on, and why did this situation spiral out of control so quickly?
Well, unfortunately, what we saw, the Navy not listen to the commander of an aircraft carrier. Captain Crozier, about a week ago, ended up being fired by the Secretary of the Navy, raising the alarm bells to the fact that he had this mass outbreak of COVID-19 on his ship, and he was concerned about the safety and ultimately the lives of his sailors, and requested that the Navy assist with getting his sailors off the ship onto land so they could properly quarantine and they could help suppress the virus that we have seen in the past. What happens to the virus for people on cruise ships? It's essentially an incubation pod, and on these Navy ships, it's extremely close quarters, so the virus spreads very, very quickly. Unfortunately, the Navy did the exact opposite of what they should have done. They allowed the situation to spiral out of control. They showed no sort of urgency. You even saw in an interview, I think with CBS, that the Secretary of Defense did when he said he hadn't even read the letter that Captain Crozier had sent to the Navy asking for requests, and that he didn't feel like it was the right time to remove sailors from the ship. So the communication channels, there was an extreme breakdown there. And then as we saw, once the Secretary of the Navy got involved, it was an extreme failure of leadership as well.
Now let's talk about that, because we're looking at it from a leadership perspective. We're both veterans and we've both done, I'm sure, a fair share of officer leadership courses. What exactly is the right path that could have been taken here by the Secretary of the Navy versus what actually happened that led to him losing his job?
Well, in any sort of crisis situation, communication is essential. The Navy immediately should have sent a message to the crew of the USS Roosevelt, the aircraft carrier that had the COVID-19 outbreak, and given some reassurance that the Navy was there, the Navy was there, backup leadership, and they were going to send all necessary resources immediately to Guam to help the crew, and that they were going to get things under control. So that message of calmness, of leadership, of that we're taking care of our own, and then showing some urgency that it is important to the Navy that they take care of the sailors that are risking their lives, but sacrificing so much, being away in a time of a global pandemic, and continuing to protect the American people, and making sure that they are sending that message that it's going to be taken care of. So that helps the crew. And then also sending it through the leadership channels to Captain Crozier saying, we hear you loud and clear, we're going to take care of this. When a commander in the, whether it be in combat, whether it be naval ship around the globe, when a field commander sends it up the says he needs help and he needs resources to accomplish that mission, the Navy, whatever branch of service, better listen, because the only way people are going to accomplish the mission is leadership ensures that they're taking care of their subordinates.
Amber Smith, I want to thank you so much for coming on with us, for sharing your experience as a DOD official as well as a combat veteran yourself. We'll put a link to your website in the lower third here for you. Thank you so much for spending your time with One America News.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.